Hi, dear Toastmasters, guests, and friends. Welcome to Toastmasters, the world's biggest platform to hone your leadership skills and communication skills. We are District 31, and I welcome you to our talk show called Open Heart with District 31. On our talk show, we have a special guest on our edition. It is Toastmaster Ed from the North Shore Toastmasters Club, a Toastmaster who is consistently in our speech contest. So if you have attended area speech contest, division speech contest, you would have definitely met Toastmaster Ed. Toastmaster Ed, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Vera. How are you?
I'm doing good, Toastmaster Ed, and thanks a lot for accepting our invite and coming on.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm honored. I've seen videos of your other YouTube recordings, and there's some pretty illustrious people in your interviews. So this is a treat for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Ed, I ask all my guests this one question: your Toastmasters journey. Where did it start? How did it start? Would you like to talk about that?
This goes back decades. Am I dating myself? In the mid 1980s, in pre-internet days, I was vice president at a bank in charge of administration, human resources, and anything that wasn't lending or savings and deposits was my responsibility. And my CEO, Bob, came to me one day and said, Ed, you seem to be okay with public speaking. And by the way, I hadn't joined the Toastmasters Club yet. I just had done some. And he said, well, what do you recommend? How did you learn? And I said, Bob, 2 words: stage time, and stage time, repeatedly. Practicing, in front of an audience and getting the feedback that helps you improve. So he said, where does that come from? And I thought to myself, interesting. It took years for me to even get as comfortable as I am now. So I asked my colleagues in the the New England Human Resources Association and some other professional groups that I was a member of. And I got, again, pre-internet days, they mailed me or they handed me at meetings, here's a brochure, there's a brochure, here's an idea, there's an idea. And some of the most outlandish ones that I shook my head at there was one that came to mind that said, fly to Chicago, we're in Boston, fly to Chicago and spend 3 days of plane fare and hotel and your company's money and listen for a whole day of lectures on how to make an effective presentation. And don't worry, we won't put you on the spot, but you'll get this handy ring binder to go home and practice in front of a mirror. What a concept. I said, no. And then someone told me about Toastmasters, and I said, what's that? And the more I listened, the more I thought, that's what we need. We need practice, spaced, repetitive practice in a mutually supportive environment with instant feedback, and everybody's there for one another's mutual benefit. What could be better? So I went to visit a meeting of the North Shore Toastmasters at the Peabody Library at the time where they were meeting. And this is back in 1990, blah, blah, blah. I liked it so much, I joined. And I began working through the advancement manuals right away, got through them pretty quickly, entered speech contests and, took on club officer and regional roles as well. And really, really, I feel like I had somebody lit a candle under me or lit a candle on my back, a rocket. It's just been a real rocketry experience for me. And so I recommended right within a couple of weeks back to Bob, the president, I think a community club for Toastmasters would be good because our employees live all over the place and they have to find time because they have kids and jobs and school. And let them find a club near them on their schedule and reimburse their tuition for Toastmasters, which isn't much anyway. It's pretty reasonable priced. And I'd say maybe a third of the people who were recommended for the program could actually find a fit for their schedules. The remainder of them, maybe as many as half, were able to eventually find the time, both through their colleagues and their coworkers' recommendations and just finding the time in their schedules to the motivation to go through with it. But I saw the benefits of Toastmasters within my own organization, as well as personally. And of course, from the feedback I received from others about my improvement. And so it was reflected back to me, not just in my own head. So that's how I found it. That's why I stayed with it. I had a lapse. I went and got really busy traveling internationally and rejoined Toastmasters in 2003. Sherry Raptor and I started the Saugus Club together. So I tell people I'm a recovering Toastmaster.
Thank you for that, Toastmaster said. A boomerang, if I may call a boomerang, which comes
That's
back.
right. The boomerang.
Toastmaster Ed, there was a reason why you joined Toastmasters. After decades in Toastmasters, what keeps you coming to your club every week, practicing your craft?
What a great question. You know, I have a life. I have a family. I have 2 grown sons and grandchildren and a lovely wife and extended family. There's 7 in my generation. And so I have plenty of time taken with family and other personal pursuits, including business, although I'm struggling mightily to retire and the clients aren't having it. But what keeps me involved in Toastmasters is it's 3 facets to it. The first one is that I feel like I continuously improve. So this is a personal gain, right, aspect of it. The other one is what thimbleful I've gained. I'd like to be able to share that and help others as well. And so I feel like I should be there for the members of my club. And I think what ties both of those together is that each of us, we're all on a self-improvement journey, continuous improvement. We'd all like to find something that works. And I don't think I can think of anything else other than full-time college degree or a PhD, whatever you want to call it. In terms of journeys of learning, I can't think of a more intensive and more successful way to engage on a continuous improvement journey. You get to focus on developing an asset, not worry about a liability, which could be stage fright, it could be fear of the unknown, it could be anything. But if you take the asset focus, right, as the investment managers tell us, you're always moving forward, and your mindset is programmed for success, and you reinforce it by continuous, spaced, repetitive learning. And above on all that, to really knit it together, what keeps me is I feel like I've developed resilience. The resilience to try something new, fail at it in some aspects, but learn instantly from feedback, and then go back and adapt and try again. And again, that continuous improvement journey is what builds resilience in each of us, in all of us. And when you see people around you in your Toastmasters club advancing in the same way, and you think back on how they started and how far they've come today, it's just such a magical experience to be part of someone else's journey alongside you. It's really a strong community and a strong positive environment. I couldn't speak more highly of Toastmasters.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster said. I hope every member listens to that and sticks on to Toastmasters for improving their assets and reducing their liabilities.
Yeah.
Toastmaster said, now we move to our second segment, which is the impact of Toastmasters on your personal life, professional life, social and spiritual life. Is there a story that you'd like to share on the impact?
Is there a story I'd like to share? I'll tell you what I like to do. And this is something that happens often enough, but I'm going to go into my inbox and go and find a very recent email exchange that I want to share with you. And I'm actually reading aloud from my inbox.
Yeah.
Just this past Monday evening's meeting, one of our newer members took it upon herself to decide to volunteer to be the MC, the Toastmaster for the meeting, which is a bit of a leap. Most people sit back and they try one skill or one role or another before they want to lead the meeting. This woman has I don't know what the word is for it. It's called chutzpah, it's called guts, it's called ambition, all of it, but in a positive way. So she took on the role, and she actually did quite well. Now, mistakes happen, and just as in life, mistakes happen, but you learn from it, you roll with it, and you move on. And she was really good at that. And so I wrote to her and said, we'll call her Sandy, because that's her name.
Okay.
She said, I just wrote to her and said, Sandy, I just wanted to write a note to you to say you did a superb job in your inaugural Toastmaster role last evening. I was impressed at how you were able to unflappably handle the surprises that came your way, as well as the commentary you put between speakers to glue the momentum together. And she wrote back, gee, thanks, Ed. I really appreciate your feedback. And she then expressed a worry. She says, Ed, You probably noticed I have a kind of a playful demeanor. Doesn't mean I'm not taking things seriously. And it may be okay for our club meetings because they're fun. But I'm thinking, and this is her saying, I'm thinking more professionalism would make sure people take me more seriously. It's a fine line you have to walk, but at the end of the day, if it's not fun, I won't do it. So what do you think? She says, you seem to do very well, Ed. Any tips about that and how you succeed? And so I wrote back to her and said, Sandy, it's funny that I actually admire your playful demeanor because it has benefits. You know, we all learn in best in moments of enjoyment. So why not make a meeting playful as you do? It makes your words and your message more impactful and more memorable. And so related to that, injecting fun into what could otherwise be a boring, corporate, uninspiring meeting doesn't benefit anybody. It's a snooze fest. Who benefits from that? Finally, it also helps us forgive and move on, especially at times when mistakes happen. You don't want to take things so seriously that if there is a mistake, you can hear a pin drop and people get embarrassed. Forget that. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. So having said all that, I said, just be you. You know, everyone else is taken anyway, right? So the compliment to me is that you, Sandy, and I seem to have similar goals and similar outlooks about having fun at a meeting. And her response to me, and this is the end of the message thread, says, wow, what a message. Thanks, Ed. I really appreciate your perspective, your thoughtfulness, and your encouragement. Now, I read that email message to you because, Vera, I wanted to give people a real live taste of the kind of continuous improvement environment that you can find in a Toastmasters club. So if I wanted to give you a story, I'd say I'll give you a personal experience story like that one, where even after the meeting is over, there's still dialogue. Now, does it happen at every club among all members? Perhaps, perhaps not. All I know is it works, it's helpful, and why let the meeting end when it ends? The benefits continue. They move on to other aspects of your life. People see your resilience, your generosity, your contribution to one another's well-being. That's a whole basket of skills that I had to say in these days and times, we could all stand to use a little bit more of that.
Amazing story, Toastmaster Ed. And you see the mentorship aspect of Toastmasters in this email conversation. A mentor, not a formal, but could be an informal. But the beauty of Toastmasters is you find mentors who are willing to, help out and share their knowledge with other new members. Thanks a lot for sharing that. There could not be any more impactful story than that. That's a problem. Toastmaster Ed, now moving to our third segment for our guests watching our talk show, what would you say, in addition to what you've already said, one or two reasons why should they consider Toastmasters?
Why should a person join Toastmasters? Well, let's see. You need stage time.
That's
Practicing with a ring binder in front of a mirror just is not going to cut it. You may get through that, but you're not going to feel good about it. And I don't think it'll make you any more confident. So why should someone join? We live in a world where not all of us, but many of us enjoy freedom of speech. Is it okay to say that? Enjoy freedom of speech. And people are thirsting for a way forward, a clear path through all the noise and the madness. So while it takes a good deal of introspection, it also involves being effective at communicating your thoughts once you've thought them through. And I can't think of a better way to practice your own thinking process in rehearsing a speech, your own active listening skills in evaluating someone else who's speaking. And evaluation is part of a Toastmaster's duties, evaluating one another. So developing oral and mental clarity so that whether it's on the spot, just as you're asking me here, you're asking me on the spot, I don't know your questions, you're just firing away. Those are all central to anyone's personal path, the professional path, your spiritual path, and contribution to our harmonious world. We could all use better understanding, and so why not practice those skills in a really productive and really helpful and immediately impactful environment like a Toastmasters club. So I guess my closing reason for why to join Toastmasters, I'd flip it and say, why wouldn't you want to join a Toastmasters club? It's that obvious to me, but then I'm inside looking out. So you have to show up if you're a guest. Be there. Come on. Come to the North Shore Toastmasters Club. We have serious fun.
Absolutely. For the guests watching our talk show, please do consider Not Your Toastmasters Club so that you could be mentored by Toastmaster Ed Alexander
Or any of us.
or any of us. Toastmaster Ed, now we move to our fourth segment, which is our rapid fire round. Are you ready for some fun?
I think so.
A historic leader that inspires you a lot.
A historic leader. I'll tell you about a historic leader who really inspired me a lot. The late musician Bob Marley. He was persecuted, hounded, troubled, and stayed true to his values in his music, in laying bare the struggles of his society, the human condition, and helping us face with open eyes the opportunity for alternatives, the opportunities for improvement, the opportunities for heightened justice in the world. So those are the kinds of people, Bob Marley is an example, who inspired me, who really, I live for that lesson.
Great choice, Toastmaster Ed. A historic speech that is very close to your heart.
Historic speech. It wasn't so much a speech as it was a simple phrase. In 1969, in July of 1969, something happened that had never happened before in the history of humanity. People landed on the moon. And there's a guy by the name of Neil Armstrong, who was the first one to sink his boots into that lunar dust. And we all probably have heard so many times we can all say it. You can say it together with me. What did he say? One small step for a man,
A giant,
one leap,
the
for
mankind.
mankind. But something else happened after that I learned. And this was part of his dialogue. Whether he rehearsed it or not, I don't think so. Because the last few things he said, if you were listening to the entire recording of the mission control dialogue, it's all recorded for posterity. He said to a guy in mission control back in Houston, he's just like drilling Shorty. Guy's name was Shorty, his nickname. What he was trying to say is they had rehearsed everything. They practiced. They learned how to practice moon landings in the Arizona desert in the middle of the night, just to simulate the moon.
Yeah.
So to me, the most inspiring aspect of his words is that practice, stage time, practice makes maybe not perfect, but better than before. And so I taught those words. I was 13, 14 years old, watching a grainy black and white TV at midnight, along with everybody else who had a TV at that time, listening to these guys' words. And I thought, boy, I should try that. Should try practicing more, should try rehearsing more, should try visualizing where I want to get. It may not be the moon, but it could be a moonshot in my life. And I'll bet there's lots of other people out here who view this video of us together who might think, I have a moonshot. How am I going to get there? Maybe Toastmasters can help me get there with a spaced, repetitive practice in front of a supportive community. What better way to learn while having fun? So that speech really inspired me. And people don't think of it as a speech, but those were vitally important words to a pre-teenage kid like me.
That's a remarkable speech or a one-liner which stays up with everyone who thinks about making giant leaps. Thank you, Toastmaster Ed. A book recommendation that you like to recommend to our audience?
Two come to mind immediately. I'll just focus on one of them. There's a gentleman by the name of Stephen Covey. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's famous for originally authored a single book, but then a series following on that elaborated on the original book. And the original book's title was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. A lot of research and interviews and thinking went into his habits, principles that he distilled into this book. One of the first ones is keep the end in mind. Too often we get sidetracked with side quests and side missions in our lives. What's the end we're hoping to achieve here? It's really important to keep in mind when you're in a business environment or a Toastmasters Club environment where you know what the goal is. You've all agreed on what that is, and you make certain that your detours don't get you in the way of progress. So working with the end in mind keeps everyone focused and productive and engaged.
Thank you for sharing a wonderful book. A food recommendation, which is very close to your palate.
A food recommendation? That's an interesting one. I'm a student of that. Not so much diet and nutrition as the science behind what keeps our bodies healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back into the answer to your question by saying something else, a little bit of science first. We've all seen what chromosomes look like. You've seen electron microscopes give you photographs of it. Now you've seen it, okay? At the end of every single chromosome, there's almost like a little boot, a sheet, a very protective coating.
Yeah.
It's called, and this is as geeky as I'm going to get, one word. It's called a telomere, which is Greek for tiny weapon or a weapon that's tiny. And what a great name for it, because it's your secret weapon. It's everybody's secret weapon. We all have chromosomes.
Yeah.
Everything that lives has chromosomes. And those little boots on the end, the telomeres, if they deteriorate, which can happen by drinking too much, smoking too much, not eating the right stuff, your digestive tract breaks down calories into stuff it tries to make useful to your chromosomes. And the stuff that's worked with us since caveman days, our bodies haven't changed that much, are the kind of food that cave people ate.
Mm-hmm.
Grains, fibrous food. You've heard the word fiber, right?
Yeah.
30 grams of fiber a day, however you can find it. You can get it from lettuce, carrots, vegetables of all kinds. You can get it from grain bread. You can get it from just about anything except the proteins, the meats. That's a whole other class. Most of us have those foods handy, and we just don't reach for them. We reach for the bag of chips. We reach for this. You look at the ingredients on the outside of the bag, it tells you how much dietary fiber is in there. Next to nothing. I reach for the healthy snack because I've dropped 20 pounds in the last 2 years. I'm arguably about as fit as anybody else I know who's about to be 70 years old. I can hold my own against my sons and my grandkids on the football field. Amazing. Not that I'm looking to break any bones, but I'm just saying I want to be able to throw a football with my grandkids when they're old enough to play it. So nutrition to me is all about getting your 30 grams of fiber, however you can get it. Whatever you eat besides that, you can fill in the rest of the day and the rest of your diet with anything you want, as long as you get 30 grams of fiber a day or close to it. Aim here, and if you achieve here, that's better than aiming here.
30 grams of fiber. 30 grams of fiber.
Most people think of it as bran. Bran is so boring. Eat the good stuff. I love salads for lunch.
Yeah.
Eat your fiber.
Thank you. That's a healthy option that you've shared with us, Toastmaster Ed. That wraps up our rapid fire round. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Only to say once again that I appreciate the time with you, Vera. It's an honor to have been invited. If anybody chooses to stumble on this video and view it, I'm hoping that even a thimbleful of what we discussed is useful to them as I'm trying to condense with you into a half an hour all the benefits of the 20 years in the Toastmasters Club. Good luck to us. So this is a start. For any of you who's viewing it now, if this is your start, it's a great start. Go for it. Thank you, Vera.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ed. You could have been anywhere in the world. You choose to come down and talk to us. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And I will. Bye for now. Until we meet again.
Thank you. Dear Toastmasters, that was Toastmaster Ed. We had a fabulous conversation. If you'd like to come and talk to us, please do mention your name in our chat window. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until our next time, stay safe, drink a lot of water, 30 grams of fiber. Bye-bye.